Hey everyone, welcome. I am Courtney Picou. Welcome to the Reconnection Blueprint show of basically letting go of limitations so you can really hear God's voice and embrace empowered living. And the whole point of this show is to provide strategic and practical tools to help you really come into alignment with yourself, let go of limitations, know who you are so that you can live empowered in total freedom and peace with your life. I mean, that is so important to not only impact your family, your cities, and your nations. So that's why we're here today. And today we have a special guest, Miss Colette. Polignone?
Yes.
Polignone. All right, I got it. And she is actually a licensed psychologist and an expert in her field who now you do Young Living, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Correct. Okay. And, you know, one of the reasons why I picked Colette to be on the show is, number one, I believe that the Young Living oils are such a powerful tool, essential oils in general, especially if you get into the biblical context of everything. So let's go ahead and welcome her in. And, you know, I like to let you kind of introduce yourself and anything that you would like to share. Why don't you just tell us your story? Like, how did you get where you were from being, are you still doing clinical psychology work?
So I don't do clinical psychology anymore. I am still a licensed psychologist, and I did psychotherapy for 20 years. And then met my husband and stayed home to homeschool my children, and Young Living fell into my lap. And just to give a quick little disclaimer, yes, I do educate about health and wellness and essential oils, but I don't make any claims for treatment, cures, diagnoses. I will tell you my story, and I suggest you do your research to see, you know, what works for you for health and wellness. And my story started with belief. Like, I used to be a victim for everything. I was very sick. I wasn't married, and kept claiming those things over myself, that those things would continue. Until one day, a couple of teachers in the school where I was a psychologist said, okay, you don't believe you're going to find a spouse, we're going to believe for you. And I was like, okay, using their belief really helped me. Fast forward the next year, I was married with a child. I mean, I finally, you know, at 37 and 39, had my two babies. But at the time I was also very sick. So I had fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, depression, anxiety, nerve damage all over my body, chronic back pain, and went around claiming that over myself all the time. I'm a sick person. Cancel clear, that's all in the past. So my story of belief and manifesting my outcome, my desired outcome, started when I did get some oils, and I sat with my foot. I had a neuroma. I had permanent handicap parking because the nerve pain in my feet was so bad. So I sat there with my oil on my foot, and I said, thank you, God, for healing my foot. It's really healing well. This is going great. So nothing changed that day. But I did that every day. I felt kind of stupid in my bedroom saying, thank you, God. I really see the cells healing. I see myself getting better. Going great. Great job, God. Great job, Colette. And it was the first time I had ever shifted from, woe is me, I'm always going to be this, to, I believe I am a well person. I am well. My foot is healed. So I kind of stumbled into that just out of, I just think God gave me that. So, but I was home for all those, 10 years being a sick person. My kids went to school, middle school, and it was at that time when I discovered Young Living and was saying that prayer over myself, and had such a phenomenal success in terms of my health and wellness that I ran around town like telling everybody about it. And the next thing I knew, I was the oily guru in town, and I had a business. So
the guru.
the oils dealer. So again, I didn't know at the time that this was a scientific phenomenon of quantum physics, of when you align your belief with your words, with your heart, and it all comes together, that you manifest your outcomes. So it was at that point that I met Dr. Charnel, and become a dear friend at this point. And she taught me about the real specific ways to manifest what we choose. So I'm going to talk a bit about that if that's helpful.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Specific ways. And you know, just like kind of what you were saying. So I love the Bible. I've been to Israel a couple times, and actually I've studied biblical Hebrew. And one of the things that I've come to learn is, you know, what we actually speak over ourselves in the statement of I am. And, you know, it was really cool because, you know, actually someone had told me, oh, whenever you say I am, you're calling into the universe and the energy and the quantum, like all that scientific fun stuff that, you know, way beyond me. But they were like, yeah, whenever you say I am, you are telling the universe exactly what you want.
Right.
And whether it's I am a victim, or I am, you know, I'm sick, or I am this, or I am prosperous, I am wealthy, it actually flows in line. And it was in that moment that that person that was talking, like God took me straight to that scripture in Exodus where Moses approached the burning bush. And God's like, okay, take off your shoes because this is holy ground. And then when Moses and God have this conversation, he's like, okay, so who should I tell Pharaoh and these people that's sending me? And God says, I am who I am.
Right.
I was like, oh, he totally put that in there for today. I'm like, he put that in there for us because obviously he created us and he knew how
right.
valuable that statement would be. So, yeah. All right. So let's talk about the mindsets and the I am and the quantum physics because this stuff is so brutal to me.
Right. So as a psychologist, I could teach skills. I knew the power of positive thinking, but that didn't get me anywhere. And as good as skills are in counseling, and I'm all for counseling, I had been missing the piece of belief and words and our language is so watered down where and even in humor we say terrible things, make terrible claims over ourselves. So I don't say things anymore like, you know, it's killing me. I mean, cancel, clear that. And you'll hear me, even if I say a word that's a negative affirmation, I always cancel it because it's important to cancel it. Or if I am talking about a current signal, I don't even say symptom. I don't say I have a this or have a that. My body's giving me a signal and it's in the past because it's really important to have your belief, like I said, your mind, your words, and your heart in alignment to manifest what you choose. So if I'm choosing a healthy marriage, if I'm choosing, you know, a strong business, but and I say those things and I believe them, but over here I say, but he might, blah, 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 right? Say something negative about my husband or something negative. Well, maybe nobody will come to the event, cancel, clear. So that's split energy. So you cannot put any energy over here. It all has to go toward what you choose.
Right,
so
there needs to be some kind of congruence.
It's so important. It's like the most important thing. And it's all throughout scripture. There's a great book you may be familiar with. It's by Robert Tennyson Stevens. It's called Conscious Language. And I love the book because he gives many practical suggestions on how to upgrade your language. I mean, things like, I can't, I'll try, I hope. I mean, all those words we use all the time. We use them everywhere. We use them in church. We use them, you know, we think we think hope is a good word, but it's actually a downgraded word. It's not a bad word. There's just better choices to upgrade our language. Right. So you're absolutely right. I am healthy. I am successful. I am equipped to be a great parent and be the best parent for my child. And so anytime any of those doubts come in, it's super important to believe them. And I do that with an oil. I mean, I take my Believe oil, you know, and I'll, you know, I'm having, you know, a day and I'll take my Believe, you know, and, you know, I believe my son, you know, is content in his relationships at school, you know, and I smell that and I say that. And, you know, a great example of what I did with my son in this is, and I have permission to tell this story. So he was in middle school and eighth grade, having a bad day, like felt like he was popular. And then the next day, everybody was on his case, felt unpopular. Came home, Mom, everybody hates me. Nobody likes me. I said, here's what you're going to do. So we took out the Believe. He actually likes Stress Away. So we took out the Stress Away oil, the Believe. We did just that. I'm the most popular kid in school. Everybody loves me. And he's like, oh, Mom. I'm like, because he's like 13. But he's seen us, my husband and I do this enough. He trusts us. So we did it a couple times, like again and again that night. The next morning before he went to school, I'm the most popular kid in school. Everybody loves me. I'm all that. He goes to school, like I forget all about it. He comes running home at 3:00 in the afternoon and he's like, Mom, guess what? And I'm like, what? He says, I'm the most popular kid in school. Everybody loves me. Like, if I had known that, like in middle school, right? My whole life,
Right.
If I had known my true identity in the Lord and who I am and been able to go out and vibrate in that, to give out that energy, like that's truly amazing. When we can affect our marriages, our children, our communities, our businesses, like whatever it is that we are called to work on, whatever our mission is in life, when we can do that, there's an energy that goes out from us. So it's a 12 to 15 inches from our heart. And so I walk around in that. And that's what I did when I discovered oils. Like I'm walking around going, oh my gosh, these oils are great. You got to get them. I didn't know like 3 things about oils. I knew 3 things. And everyone's like coming to me. My business is growing wonderfully because I believed. Then later I found out that was a scientific thing. So now what I do, you asked for practical suggestions. So I do mind mapping because it's important to believe, say, and to get it in your heart and to really meditate on that. And it's also important to write it out on a piece of paper because that has direct effect on the neurons in the brain. Like smelling the oils has a direct impact on the chemistry of your brain, and it's important to write it out. So, for example, trying to think of an example. What example?
Let me give you an example. Actually, let's talk about the oils because I've been doing oils. I mean, I don't use them all the time, but I will, especially when I'm traveling. As you know, I have been traveling to California a lot in the midst of the coronavirus.
Yeah.
And, like I'm watching people and I'm trying to stay out of judgment because everyone's got their masks on. And the whole time, like, people are like, oh, take this, take that. I was like, I don't need that. That is not my emotional conflict. And I am very much a believer that if I am at peace in alignment with myself and in connection with my relationships, then that's not my conflict. Like there is no ounce of fear that I'm going to catch it. And very rarely do I get sick. And whenever I do get sick, I'm like, okay, so where am I out of alignment? Oh, okay, thank you, body, or thank you, God, for showing me this, Holy Spirit. Let me either go rectify it or, let me work on, someone invaded my territory. Okay, well, my sinus infection does not last 3 weeks. It lasts like 3 days. But a great example that I would love, maybe we can use this for is, like I know someone who actually calls Young Living oils snake oil. And rub some of that snake oil on me. Like total skeptic. And there's this part of me, I'm like, okay, well, it doesn't really work for them. It doesn't really like assist them very much. And one day we were having a conversation. I was like, maybe if you didn't actually call it snake oil with the skepticism of your belief system, it may actually be able to support whatever you're trying to accomplish. Because I believe it's more about the energy that our minds are putting off and the alignment of our spirit. And then the tools can just kind of help quantum leap wherever we want to go with it. So would you be able to mind map an example like that? Like say someone's got a snake oil concept or something like that.
Yeah, and I say that all the time, that if you believe oils or counseling or, whatever the thing is, if you're going for that intervention and you don't believe it's going to happen, like don't bother. Like, some peppermint may help with a little tension. You might feel a little something, something, but a bottle of thieves is not going to keep you well if you go around like, calling it snake oil.
Right. Exactly.
So we start with belief. Okay. So if you don't believe that, you gave me the example of your immune system, supporting your immune system.
Yeah,
So I would start with, the belief, and I would say, I believe my body has the ability to heal itself. So can that person say that? Okay, if you can't say that, well, what can you say? I believe that that I would like to be well, because some people have self-sabotaging behavior where they've been a victim for so long they don't know how not to be a victim, which honestly was me. Like, since I was a little itty bitty girl, I got sick to get attention, and I got attention when I was sick. It was nobody's fault. It was just what evolved in my life.
Yeah, that was the payoff, the attention.
And I have a scanner that I'm going to, talk about at the end. But the scanner, it actually shows the negative beliefs. So
wow.
One of them that I got when I first started doing the scan was, I am safe when I'm sick. Cancel, clear that, right? So there are these sort of ingrained, sometimes it's generational. Sometimes it's not even something you're consciously thinking, but if you got something generations down from the past, like, you have to cancel that. Like, I am safe. I am well. My body heals itself. So starting with, like, what can somebody honestly say, like, with integrity, with belief, that my body can heal. I choose to be well. So kind of taking it back to the place where, what can they say that's real?
Right. I mean, like, it can honestly probably be, and you can chime in, something as simple as, because I know every single person on the face of the planet probably struggles with this, like their weight, like how they view themselves. Like, okay, I'm fat, or, oh no, I want to be healthy and well. Like, I get to eliminate weight and make healthy choices. Like, to me, like, yes, the belief, and then also the action, so that we don't self-sabotage. Because I'm a recovering self-sabotager. I don't do that anymore. See, I'm recovering.
Right. And that's where in the past, I didn't have the tools to do that. So whenever we say I want, like, when does wanting stop and breakthrough happen? Or when we say, like, I hear a lot, oh, we're praying for breakthrough or waiting for breakthrough. Well, when does the breakthrough stop, and when does the outcome, the miracle happen?
Manifest, yeah.
So I never use the word want. I never use, I wish I could, lose weight, or, because it's the language of it is not a high vibration. So I'm looking for some of my high vibration words here.
And when you say high vibration, you're talking about the frequency, correct? Like the frequency level, energy-wise?
Yeah. So high vibration words: believe, thrive, choose, I am, I imagine, I empower, I remember. They're positive, they're clear, I envision, I commit, I know. So if you say any of those words, how do you feel?
Girl, I'm like ready to take on the world. I'm like writing them all down.
Right. If you say, I'm going to try to go talk to someone, I want to feel better, I need to go to the gym, I really should call a friend, I worry that, I have to, so you get the point. Like, how do all those words feel?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So the issue is, like, our culture is this. And when I first started this, I actually had to, like, stop talking for a bit, because I was like,
those are all my words. Yeah.
Right. So that's where the book by Robert Tennyson Stevens is so helpful, because he gives tons of practical upgrades. It's full of scripture, it's full of science showing why the quantum physics why there's science behind it and scripture behind it. And he gives practical suggestions. Instead of saying, I want, I choose. Instead of I hope, I am. So, for example, I'm going to draw you on a little piece of paper here. So I start with an I am statement, just like you said. Okay. And I draw a little heart around it. And so you use the example of healthy. So let's say I am.
Let me do this. I'm gonna do it with you.
I am healthy.
Yes, do it with you.
And protected in my world now and always. Okay, so it's kind of messy, but you can see I took it from I am healthy, which is a little too general, to I am healthy, I'm protected. I mean, if I had more time, I'm safe, I'm strong, I'm wise in my world. And you could say in my community, on the airplane, at my school, you know, whatever the specific thing is, now and always. Okay, so it has to be a very specific. The more specific you get, you know, one example is I prayed for a good vacation. You know, I pray I get to go on a good vacation with my family. I get to go on vacation with my family. Well, I went on vacation with my family and it stunk because I forgot to say, you know, we have the financial resources provided. We have a great time. You know, everything goes smoothly. You know, we had things that didn't go well because I wasn't specific on my piece of paper.
Right. So, oh, that's powerful though. That is a powerful tool right there.
Very powerful. So I am healthy. So I believe my body heals itself. Okay. So I say that every morning. And I'm the same way. Like I rarely come down with something. And if I do, you know, if I get a sore throat, someone sneezed on me, you know, within 24 to 48 hours, it's wiped out. Yes, I use oils. Yes, I use Young Living supplements to support myself. And I believe my body heals itself.
Right, right. And that's so important. I love how both of us kind of come from this background of our victim stories of being sick all the time. I mean, I've broken so many things. And it's like now we're living in this land where we very rarely get sick. Or if we do, like we know what avenues to take. Like, okay, I need to reflect in to see what's going on with me so that I can be well. Like I just think that it's so cool. That's such a beautiful testimony of how we start here, the majority of our lives, and then we embrace and engage in our story of, okay, what's my victim story? What's the payoff in this? And it's just really kind of taking us across the board into being where we are, like supporting other people to live empowered and come into alignment with themselves. Like that is awesome. I'm gonna start doing this heart thing.
And this is super important. So Dr. Charnel taught me this. Robert Tennyson Stevens taught me this. And it's extensive. We're not going to do it all. I don't have time to do a whole thing, but you use your senses. So I just said, I believe. So I'm using my brain, and we tend to be in our brains. Then I'm going to use, smell. You know, I smell, you know, wonderful oils in my house that are keeping me well. I smell great food cooking because I'm well enough to eat it. You know, I taste, you know, I'm eating good food that's supporting my body. I see my family happy and, you know, playing games in front of the fire at night because we're well. I see us going out in the community and being well. So you use all your senses as well, because that activates parts of your brain that also manifest the desired outcome. And you have to be very specific. You know, like with money, you can't just say, I want to be rich, right? You have to say, you know, my bank accounts are abundant with this much money. And you have to be very specific. And I see myself spending the money on a vacation. And I see myself, get where I'm going?
Oh yeah, totally. I'm writing it all down. So let me take notes. I get to go back and watch the video.
So people know about mind mapping, but this is a very specific time. It's actually called, it's more outcome mapping. I should change, don't call it mind mapping, because that's like there's a lot of books on mind mapping, and that's not a bad thing, but this is a whole different level of like, when you speak it, it comes into being. And and the words are so powerful that it's your best choice, your upgraded choice is not to say anything in the negative. And a lot of conscious language people kind of go back and forth. I'm conscious language and I say, yes, I manifest my best, business, and my business grows, and then they say something out of the other side of their mouth, but I'm really discouraged because no one came to the meeting. Like, they just honestly like undid it. So I really believe people come to my meetings. Like, at first it was just sort of an innocence. I just believed everybody was going to come. Right. And people come to my meetings. Like, I make appointments on my calendars, and people come. Most other people tell me, well, people won't get on the calendar. People won't come. I invite them. And I'm like, well, do you believe they're going to come? Well, I don't think they have the money. I think they're kind of too busy. Okay, well, you just decided for them.
Right. Are you their CPA?
Right. Or we're sitting in a meeting and they say to people, okay, well, if you don't have the money, or if you really don't want to do this, like, they already decided for them. So my belief is so strong that, that the oils work, and it's not just the oils, that it's also detoxing your home with the healthy, safe, plant-based products, and it's reducing stress. It's getting enough sleep. It's drinking enough water. It's the whole
alignment of the mind, the body, and the spirit.
Yeah, right. So you have to nurture yourself as well. But to get those three parts aligned, it actually reprograms the brain. So you can be like a victim. Oh, nobody loves me, or cancel clear that. But I don't have any friends. And so somebody rejects you, and you can just go to that place like, nobody loves me. There it happened again. Okay, see? Or you can say, I'm an incredible person. I'm valuable. I have so much to offer. I'm a gift to a friend. And you can actually reprogram those cells that used to have that outcome. You can reprogram them to the positive outcome.
Okay, now let's talk about that for a minute, because you kind of pretty much already answered some of my other questions that I had for you. Like, do you know how long the reprogramming takes? I'm thinking we're talking about neuroplasticity and reprogramming the brain. Like, from what I understand, it's usually like in increments of 7, like 21 days of reprogramming the brain. But are you familiar with that?
Yeah, so it happens instantaneously because it's belief. I mean, I learned this. I did a consultation with Charnel, and the next day, like 10 things happened. Like, I got a trip to Disney. I won something at Young Living. My husband started taking out the trash. That was actually on my list. It'd been like a 10-year argument. My kid, was popular in school. Like, I wrote all these things down, and it was like, I called her the next day. I'm like, oh my gosh, Charnel, like, this works. And she's like, I know. So again, even like the 21-day thing, like, who made that up? Is that God? When did God say 21 days?
I love that you totally just debunked that. Like, the instant that you really believe is the instant that it can manifest into the outcome that you're looking for. I actually like how you want to even rename mind mapping to like mind outcome mapping or outcome mapping, because that is the true. I don't know if anybody says that over there on the East Coast, but I like to.
I have to give credit to Dr. Charnel for that. She taught me that. And I've done trainings with Robert Tennis, Bob Stevens. And I cannot more highly recommend getting to a Bob Stevens training.
I think I've been actually through her. I've been to one, and he did what's it called? Iridology?
Optical eye. Yeah, I've had that done too.
Okay, yeah, that was interesting. Talk about reading my mail. I'm like, all right, bro. I'm like, what's this? What's this stuff? What's this snake oil here? I'm just kidding. But I was like, wow, okay, just looking into my eyeball. But if you think about it, like the eyes, like we avoid eye contact the most. And whenever, we make eye contact, it's very piercing. I mean, it really is the window to the soul. And so I'm just thinking about that experience that I had with him. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. So that is.
You're right. It's the biggest thing I come up against. Like, I train a lot of women in business, and like the first thing we have to start with is like, what do you believe is going to happen? Do you believe your friend is going to come to the meeting? Well, okay, well, let's start there. Like, I, you know, I believe Susie is coming to the meeting. She will be excited about getting well. She will, you know, purchase the starter kit. She, you know, we go through all the things. Do you believe it's a good thing? Oh yeah, I believe it's a good thing. Do you believe it's a good thing for your friend? Oh, definitely. Okay, well then let's put that energy out there. You know, most people get hung up on anything, not just Young Living business, but anything. You know, my husband, right? What do women do? They walk around complaining about their husbands, and what do they get? Right?
No, a husband that's not meeting their expectations.
Yeah, I'm always, you know, my husband is, you know, all the amazing things that he is. And, you know, is he perfect? Am I perfect? We upgrade ourselves all the time. And I upgrade my beliefs all the time. And when I do that, my marriage goes great. And when I slip back into, you know.
You stop, you acknowledge, and you release it, and then you move forward. So before we kind of get into what you want to offer today, like what is, when you wake up in the morning, what is the first thing that you do that we could share with the audience, just to kind of like start off your day? Because to me, like I am a big proponent of Psalm chapter 5, verse 3, early I rise and wait with great expectations for what you have for me, Lord. Like I'm all about like getting this grounded and ready to go for the day. Because if I'm not grounded and ready to go, then the day is gonna be poo-poo.
Right.
So like what is something practical that you do just to kind of ground your mindset and your belief system like every morning? Is there something that you specifically do?
Yes.
In addition to the oil?
Yeah. So I say, Lord, show me who needs me today. I am a gift and I am ready to show up for whoever wants to know the information that I have. And he does. And I also say, like, show me the people who are interested and are ready, but don't show me the others. Cause like you know, that just doesn't go so great. So I wake up like I'm a ray of sunshine. I'm an amazing gift. Like nobody told me about Young Living. You know, all those years I was so below the wellness line. And later I found out that I had Young Living friends and they were like, oh, we don't want to bother you or, you know, feel like we were making money off of you. I was like, oh my gosh, how much I wish you had bothered me, shared with me. Right. So I wake up knowing what an incredible gift the Lord has implanted in me. And I'm a ray of sunshine. Like I go out there spreading my love and light and victory and happiness. And that exudes from me.
That's so good though. I mean, like, just think, like, people who would actually wake up in the morning and said, I am a gift. I mean, the boost to the confidence, like in the brain, like I am a gift. Even if you start out like, I'm a gift. I don't know if I really believe this, but I am a gift. And you just keep at it until eventually, like, you just, like your confidence level goes up. And then you turn into such a powerful, impactful person. Just by that is, I'm like, oh, do I wake up in the morning and say I'm a gift to people?
Right, because who am I? Like, I'm a son of God. Like, who am I to argue with him about who he says I am? Yeah. You know, and if I don't like the zit on my face or the muffin around my belly or, I don't know, my nose or whatever, cancel clear, all that, like, who am I to say that the amazing woman that he created is less than anything? Right? When I walk in his identity of who he made me to be, right, I am powerful in him to spread his message, whatever my calling happens to be.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good stuff. So I know that you had one, I know we're kind of getting a little low on time here. I know that you wanted to introduce and make an offer to the audience. And so I'll let you go ahead and talk a little bit about that before we wrap it up. Although I'm gonna be honest, this right here is gold. Like I get to implement this not only for myself, I get to implement that with the two beautiful little girls that I have in my life that I get to be Coco to. So, okay, what do you have there that you would like to offer to the audience?
Yeah, so one of the things that I do is I do body scans. So I have a $3,000 system that I use where, and normally I charge $150 for this consultation, but I'm offering this for free to folks who watch this. because what this is, I don't know if you can see it, but it shows, this is one that I did yesterday. So it shows 12 body systems and which ones are most out of balance. So like yesterday, for me, it happened to be skeletal and what's one down there, and respiratory. So this is super cool because it shows what's going on with the immune system. So my immune system's doing really well. And then after we do the body systems, we pick 2 and look at them more in depth. So it'll show what particular thing is out of whack, say with your immune system or your skeletal system. You know, maybe for me, maybe for immune system, it would be maybe lack of exercise, cancel clear that, or not enough water or vitamin D. It actually says those things, shows those things. But for you, it might be something else. For you, it might be stress. You know, and it's amazing how often stress comes up on this. People are like, oh, how did the machine know I was stressed? So it shows what's out of balance. And then it also shows lifestyle upgrades. So Courtney, maybe you need to reduce your stress. Maybe you need to, you know, reword some of your beliefs about yourself. Like it would say that. And Colette, you know, maybe you need to get off your butt and exercise and drink more water. So very specific lifestyle, and sometimes it's, you know, nutrition like herbs or supplements or something. And then the third section is oils and herbs that would help you as well.
Like,
so it really helps us narrow down to like what you might need. Yeah.
Awesome. So what we'll do is we'll provide the link whenever we send out the interview, and we'll just let the audience, they'll be able to go through the landing page and just be able to click into it. And we'll put something like interview promo 2020 or the Blueprints Reconnection. That way you'll know who's coming in and everything. Okay, so just to kind of like wrap it all up, was there anything else that you really were like dying to share that we didn't get to?
Yeah, I just cannot express how important it is to be careful with your words. And, you know, get this book that I'm talking about, and, you know, get with someone you know who can do this and walk you through how to, and that's what I do with my Young Living members. Like, they get all this for free. They get all this conscious language, outcome mapping. You know, what I do is way more than just oils and health and wellness, because you got to get your belief right first before any positive outcome. So I ended up doing a lot of other kind of counseling as well, and my members get that. So you've got to be careful about the words you say, and you might not talk for a couple weeks or a couple months.
Well, that might not necessarily be a bad thing. Which book specific are you talking about? Dr. Roberts' book?
Yeah, it's called Conscious Language. I looked for it. Oh, here it is. Let me show it.
I think it's like a pink or beige book, or.
Yeah, this is it here.
Oh yeah, okay. So like I've started it and I never got into it, but I get to go ahead and read that. We'll put the link for the book.
Specific upgrades. Like, instead of I will try to do well, I do good. I am good. I do well. I choose to do good. So you can use these on your outcome map until you can just do them in your head on your own.
Right, until you're like well in depth into it too. Okay, that's good stuff right there.
It's so super powerful, and I just love teaching about it.
Just like probably I would say in the last, I would say 6 months, just being able to recognize the story in this concerning me and like the scarcity mindset that I had around money. And that wasn't even like my story, that was my family story. And I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. And so I'm starting to do the work on that. And, you know, I'm seeing my business shift. I'm seeing like the people that I'm able to impact shift, because I am actually starting to see myself as a gift to people and what I have to impact the world. I consider myself a little revival ninja, but I'm like, well, I don't need to be a ninja. I can just be a revivalist, period. And just
right. I am a ninja. Cross. I am a powerful woman. I have a powerful story to share. I am all that. I impact millions. The Lord uses me with my gifting to find the right people who need me and are ready for me.
That right there is
present. It's it's now. Like it is in you now. It's not future. It's now. Like the Lord knows no time, right? It's now.
I think that instantaneous like concept that you just related like maybe 2 minutes ago is probably the most powerful thing that anyone could really take away from. I mean, there's so much stuff that we talked about and that you shared, but I think that the instant that you think it and believe it, just like the negative, if I instantly think that there's going to be something bad that happens, usually that's how that goes. But it's the same thing with abundance and positivity. The instant that you think it, like it really can happen. It doesn't have to be that hard. You don't have to do that much work. Like you just believe it. So, Colette, thank you so much for being a part of the show today.
I'd love to talk about this.
I know, like we could go on all day about this. I really appreciate like your generosity and like what you're offering and just, telling your story that can impact people. There's just so much, I mean, our world, especially like our country, we're such a generous country and yet like we have so much hurt going on. And, it just takes one person to see one other person and then it just ripple effects out of that. So, audience, thank you so much for joining us for this show. Stay tuned for further interviews. I might even see if I can get, well, no, I'm not going to mic. I'm going to message Dr. Robert and I'm going to get him on this show because I have a few slots left and I'm looking to fill it. So I would love to get him to come on and talk about the conscious language. Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing your heart and your knowledge when it comes to mindsets and belief systems. That's really what this is all about. It's about really seeing who we really are and coming into alignment of God, of who God called us to be so that we can step into everything that he's called us on this earth to do because we've all been called to change the world.
Right. The same spirit that rose Christ from the dead lives in us, right?
That's right. That's right, girl.
Church. Do we get that? Or do we go, Lord, maybe if it's possibly your will, do you think you could possibly think of little old me? I mean, cancel that. I mean, the same spirit that rose Christ from the dead, he lives in me.
That's right. It's the same.
What can I do?
Blood, girl. Yes. Girl, we having church. We don't even have to go to the church building. We have a church online. So, yeah, everyone.
About this. If you ever know anybody who chooses to have teaching on this, I will come teach because it's what the Lord has gifted me to do.
That's so awesome. Thank you so much, Colette. Everyone, join us for the next interview. Appreciate you joining us. Love y'all. See y'all soon.
Thank you so much. I'm honored. Have a great day.
Thank you.